If you are anything like me, you were not homeschooled as a child and you had absolutely zero intentions of homeschooling your own children, but somehow, some way, you ended up having this calling in your heart and feeling like it was the absolute best decision for you and your family. And I will admit to you that I believed all of the homeschool myths, like you can't homeschool all the way through, you have to replicate an 8-hour school day. Homeschool kids are weird and socially awkward. I can tell you now that that's not true. 3, almost 4 years into the homeschool game, but back then I just didn't know. So today's video is going to be the essentials that got us going and have gotten us through preschool and kindergarten, and now we're almost done with first grade. So these are the supplies that we use on a regular basis, the tried and trues. I will have everything linked down in the description box, and don't forget to subscribe. The very first and most important thing that you're going to need is a printer. You are going to be using your printer on a daily basis. And you are also going to need ink. A printer and ink go hand in hand. We use a brand that we found on Amazon for the ink. It's like an off brand. It works great and it fits into our printer because it would definitely add up when you are printing as often as you do as a homeschool parent. So I will have both of those things linked down below, and I think that's the first and most important thing, because if you print worksheets, you can find so many free worksheets online, or you can even go on Teachers Pay Teachers and they have a lot of like worksheets and preschool curriculums and things like that you could just print off of your printer, throw in a binder, things like that. So having a printer is definitely an essential. And then you can also use the little sleeves that you put worksheets in, and then your kids can do the dry erase markers and you can make your worksheets like reusable. You can have them in like a morning binder. There's so many different things that you can do with that. So a printer is number one, and then I also am going to recommend that you get some of those reusable sleeves. Sometimes you find them in the Target dollar spot. I will have things linked down below if you just want to order online. A whiteboard, I think, is another essential. My daughter really enjoyed writing on the whiteboard when she was first learning math, first learning her sight words. It's very interactive. Obviously, every child learns different, but so far, both of my girls, they're very different learners and they both really enjoy using the whiteboard. And I enjoy it as well. I enjoy like writing things on there. It helps keep me on track, remind me of our schedule, different things that we need to go over. So we picked up our whiteboard from Hobby Lobby. They usually do like once a month 40% off or something like that of the whiteboards and chalkboards and all that stuff, but I will also have some linked down below for you guys. We have 2 on top of each other, one for me to write on and then a lower one for them to write on, and that works out really well because we don't have like a huge space to put like a really big one. I also recommend getting workbooks. Workbooks you can get at Dollar Tree. I get workbooks from there and I put them in our morning basket. The workbook that I recommend the most is the Big Preschool, I believe it's called, and I ordered it on Amazon. That is what I used with my daughter at the beginning of our homeschool journey, and it got her really far ahead. She really understood her numbers, her letters, started doing her basic like addition, reading and comprehending and stories. Like it just was like a all-in-one, and that is what we used. And then right after that we went into the Good and the Beautiful curriculum, and that's supposed to be a little bit advanced, and she jumped right in. I believe that Good and the Beautiful has 2 levels of preschool. We didn't do our preschool through them. We just went to kindergarten, and she started kindergarten at 4. So I definitely recommend that depending on your kids' interests. If you want something more play-based, there's some other curriculums I will have linked down below. I know some people like to do more play-based, and we definitely did crafts and all the fun stuff, but I really wanted my daughter to be prepared for kindergarten because at that point in my mind, she was physically going to be going to kindergarten, and I wanted to make sure she knew everything and had everything she needed. That workbook definitely covered all the bases. Another thing is math manipulatives. A lot of children benefit from being able to physically see things and work with their hands. That's also kind of the like Montessori approach if you're into that. So we used math cubes in the beginning to really get our daughter to visualize her math problems, her simple addition, simple subtraction, and that worked really, really well. They also have like little math There are little colorful bears that you can do as a math manipulative. So I will have both things linked down below. It really just depends on your family and what you prefer, but I would highly recommend that for early learners and like early math learners. If you have a little early reader, I highly recommend the Bob books. The Bob books or the My Little Readers. We use the My Little Readers actually, but I've had teachers recommend the Bob books. I'm pretty sure it's the same concept, but I can't say for sure because we never use the Bob books. But they're just these little readers that help your little readers feel confident because they're so simple and they're interesting to them. They have little different topics, and what we would do is like every week we would just focus on another book, and that is really what kind of helped her learn how to read super early on and to feel confident as a reader, because it is discouraging if you give them books that are a little bit too difficult or too challenging that early on. Even if they have the ability to sound it out, it just can be overwhelming. So I highly recommend getting one of those little book sets, and we are going to be using those also with our second daughter to get her reading and on the same path. Handwriting and just like doodling and getting good pencil control. These things obviously are so important for the preschool age, and probably something that everyone is going to be focusing on in the preschool age, whether it's like preschool 3 or like the pre-K, like really getting you ready for kindergarten age. We were recommended to get jumbo pencils for their little hands. It's supposed to really help them with the pencil control. So we got the like bigger pencils for her to write with. At this point, Amar had already started writing with regular size pencils, but I do notice that the jumbo pencils help Soleil since she is still learning how to write. So some things do depend on the child, of course, but it's worth a try. You can order a little pack on Amazon, and if your child is still learning how to write and trying to get really good pencil control, that might be the thing to really help them. And then along with those jumbo pencils, we got the kindergarten paper. So the thicker lined paper, you know, when you are in kindergarten, you're learning how to write your name. They have this special paper. So we got a book of that, and that also really helped with practicing handwriting. We did a lot of freehand rather than tracing. That's just my personal preference, and it helped my daughter learn how to write a lot sooner and a lot neater. And not get so stuck in like having to trace everything, but that's also going to be like personal preference. And I also found this name tracing template on either Pinterest or Google. I will have it linked down below, but this is how I taught my girls how to write their names out. It is a tracing thing, so that is one thing that I did really allow them to trace, and I felt okay with them tracing like every day and just kind of getting them used to writing their name, because that's something you obviously want them to be able to write. But other than that, I tried to use the kindergarten notebook and have them actually like write out things. And of course, you're gonna need scissors, glue, construction paper, popsicle sticks, little googly eyes, all that kind of stuff you can get at Dollar Tree, super, super cheap. We go through that stuff like crazy. Colored construction paper, you know, crafty things and things that keep it more exciting, and you can do like seasonal projects and holiday little crafts with. We like to keep a lot of that stuff on hand. Also flashcards, if you'd like to make your own flashcards, if you see something that your child is kind of stuck on or struggling with and you want to incorporate like some sort of review, or you're trying to teach it to the child in a different way than it's being presented. I find that making our own flashcards or having the child make their own flashcards helps a ton. That is all you need to get yourself going with homeschooling. It is a lot more intimidating and overwhelming from the outside looking in than it actually is. And I know a lot of times people are like, oh my God, how do you do it? How do you homeschool? And it seems like a lot, but like I said, it's because our idea of schooling comes from a traditional view, and you know, an 8-hour day that needs to be filled with things back to back to back. Homeschooling is so different than you could ever imagine, and it's something you really only understand once you're doing it and you're in it. But I am here to help you guys along on your journey. If you would like to see how I set up lesson plans any curriculum reviews, anything homeschool related, please let me know down in the comments below, because I'm so happy to share that with you guys and bring you into our homeschool world and show you the beauty in homeschool, because I know that if you are considering it, there are so many things that like hold you back and you second guess yourself and make you just think like, no, there's no way that I can do this. But I'm here to tell you that you can do it. You just need a little bit of a push and a little bit of a guide, and I am here to be that for you, because I know how it feels to be completely lost, but just have that feeling in your heart that this is the right thing for you and your family. So please don't forget to subscribe. Share this video with someone that you know that is homeschooling or thinking about homeschooling, or even just doing preschool at home. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.